This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da.
Yo, what up, though, people? I'd like to welcome you back to the Keep It a C-Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. This your first time tuning in. Salute to you. Do me a favor. Hit the sub button, like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you agree, you disagree, want to correct me on something, or if you just want to call me an Uber, let me know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C-Note, and please share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you, so that we can all talk that talk together. All-Star Weekend has come, and it has went. Pause. Shout out to Draymond Green, who had the most memorable moments at All-Star Weekend. And the funny thing about that is he didn't even play in the game. He didn't participate in none of the festivities. Still, he had the most memorable highlights. The most funniest out of the Draymond Green highlights had to been him speaking on today's State of the NBA. This is what he had to say.
It was so refreshing to play against Bron because every possession is like a chess match. But you don't just get that on a regular basis. It's just who can run faster, who can hit more threes. It's no substance. And so I think it's very boring.
Now, shout out to Oscar Robertson, a.k.a. the Big O. If you don't know who that is, he's a legend to the NBA game. First NBA player to average a triple-double in the season. He's done a lot for the NBA. He's done a lot for the players on and off the court. You don't know about him, go ahead and Google him. I guess he took offense to the Draymond Green comments. He had this to say.
Draymond said so much, who cares what Draymond says? It doesn't mean anything. People, this is what I mean, one guy can say this and one guy can say that. The game is what it is. People either like the game or they don't. And I think people enjoy the game, especially if their team can win. And you look at the basketball, it might be boring to him because if he's not passing the ball to Curry, what is he doing?
I agree. Triple single is
not to single that out because I think he knows how to play basketball, but he's passed his ball to Curry more than anyone I've ever seen in basketball.
Now, what's funny is I've been saying for years that Draymond Green is overrated, overvalued, overpaid. This guy does nothing but stand at the top of the key, wait for Steph Curry to come off of screens, pass him the ball, and Steph Curry does the rest. I've been criticized for years saying I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm undervaluing Draymond Green. He's a bully. He's the defensive enforcer, yada, yada, yada. Nobody wants to listen to me when I say things, I guess, because I've never played in any professional sports league. So it's always funny to see the legends of the game thinking the way I think, because I think like a player, baby. I don't think like a fan, and that's what separates my mind state from a lot of others' mind state when we're watching the game. I'm just keeping it a C-Note. Now, we all know by now during the All-Star game, Draymond Green had some things to say about the new format. He criticized. Charles Barkley replied. I want to play both clips, and I want to see, who do you guys agree with? Do you agree with Draymond Green? Do you agree with Charles Barkley? Keep it a C-Note. Let's roll the clips.
You work all year to be an all-star, and you get to play up to 40, and then you're done. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game really seriously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing after the points records, Melo and Kobe and all these guys who've had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Also, we can watch some rising stars. We're about to watch the Olympic team. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against a U19 team. come on, what are we doing? This is ridiculous.
Kenny's team.
They can't do that. They don't get to etch their name in the history books. It's the reason you get an all-star, Kobe Bryant all-star MVP award.
Scale of 1 to 10, your thoughts of the format?
10 being the best.
Yes.
A 0. Sucks. Same basketball.
I just wish you were more.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to disagree with Draymond a lot. You know, listen, we're trying anything. You know, I use the analogy like when your kids mess up the house, you make them clean it up and they complain, and they mess the game up. That's why we're trying kamikaze stuff out here right now. So his generation messed the game up. So don't act like he's mad because they're trying to use rookies, and we're doing every type of trick to make this weekend exciting.
I had to say with this one, I'm keeping it a C note. I agree with both of them. Draymond Green is right. Guys have worked to make it to the All-Star game, and some of them only got to play until the score went to 40. That was it. That was all. With the 40-point game gimmick, you have no chance of breaking any All-Star records or setting any All-Star records for that matter. And the first and second year players definitely shouldn't have been on the court. So I agree with all of that Draymond said. But I definitely agree to what Charles Barkley said. The reason why the NBA has to do all these gimmicks because Draymond Green's era, which is Steph Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant, James Harden, these guys killed the competition of the All-Star game. Once these guys started getting more money and they started having this player empowerment, they treat the All-Star game now as like a celebrity game. And that's just me keeping it a C note. So, yeah, you're going to have to come up with a lot of different gimmicks until the league changes. So I definitely agree with both. Now, we had Kevin Durant. He weighed in on the whole situation via X. He had this tweet to say, which is on the screen, but I paraphrase. He just saying that, you know, what would y'all rather, just us take the week off? If that's the case, if we're going to complain about everything with the All-Star game, should we take the week off? And nah, I don't think people want y'all to take the week off. I just think people want everybody to play. You shouldn't have to come in there and create gimmicks to make people want to play. You guys supposed to be the best of the best. That's why you guys are all-stars. Y'all supposed to get out there and show why y'all are all-stars. I'm keeping it a C note. Giannis also weighed in. He had a solution to the problem, how we can fix the All-Star game. One solution he's with is this. Check him out.
NBA, he says, considering, let's say, a USA versus a world team format. Take a listen.
I would love that, and for sure, like I'll take pride to that. I always compete, but like I think that will give me a little bit more extra juice. Having like Shea, Jokic, Luka, Wemby, Towns, Şengün, like having all those players going against the best US players, I think it'll be fun.
Now, I've been with this idea that Giannis is saying for the last couple of years, and I've heard everything from it wouldn't work because the foreign players don't have enough players. It's not fair to the American players that you're going to leave them off just to make this game happen. And I don't agree with some of the reasons why people don't want to see this game. But now that I'm looking at things, the way everything played out with this little gimmick that they ran, not even the world versus Team USA versus the world, not even that will save the All-Star game, not in this era. But we'll get back to that. How about LeBron James? He's all over the place. He's in the news. A lot of criticism towards him because at the last minute, he decided not to play in the All-Star game. Now, we know LeBron James, or if you're a LeBron James fan, you know that he didn't play the last game of the season before the All-Star break. So it's not like this is an injury that came out of nowhere. A lot of people saying that he's selfish. He should have sat out, gave his spot up to somebody else. Y'all agreeing with that? Y'all critiquing LeBron? Was LeBron selfish for not sitting out the All-Star game and letting somebody take his slot? Shout out to LeBron, too, because he just snapped a 20-year run of playing in the All-Star game, so that is definitely snapped. Let me ask y'all a question. A lot of people are bashing the gimmick that they ran, this little tournament at All-Star game, all points to 40. Steph Curry is the one that kind of created the concept, which is funny because Draymond Green was bashing his own teammates' little idea. But I'm saying for the fans, for the analysts that are critiquing LeBron James, why or critiquing the All-Star game and the format, why is no one critiquing Steph Curry for coming up with this idea, with this gimmick? Is there a reason for that? Now, a lot of things make sense knowing that Steph Curry is kind of the reason why this All-Star format happened. A lot of people, when he was announced the All-Star starter, a lot of people criticized that because he was having a down year, averaging around 22 points at the time. Golden State was not a contender at the time, so a lot of people felt as though he didn't deserve to be an All-Star this year, especially not a starter. But it all makes sense. The All-Star game was in Golden State's arena, right? He came up with the concept for this All-Star game gimmick this year. You couldn't have all these things going for the All-Star game and leave Steph out of the All-Star game. Now, a lot of people saying Jason Tatum should have been MVP, but again, this is Steph's format. Maybe this was designed for Steph to look good in this format. But what's your thoughts on it, people? Why nobody criticizing Steph Curry? Everybody's criticizing this All-Star game and these games to 40 and letting the kids play on the court on Sunday. Why is no one criticizing Steph Curry? Keep it a C note. Lastly, why is no one criticizing Anthony Edwards? Anthony Edwards pulled the same move LeBron pulled and decided not to play like right before the game. And I know even saying LeBron didn't play the game before they went on an All-Star break, he's still 40 years old. So somewhat you have to give him some leeway. But Anthony Edwards, that was crazy. But somehow or another, no one is talking about it. What's that about? Should we be criticizing Anthony Edwards? Yes, no, keep it a C, no, let me know. All the criticizing that we did, and we even tweeted during the game that they turned the NBA All-Star game into WWE. Too much talking, too much filler time, as they knew that was going to be the case, only playing games to 40. I know a lot of people say they didn't watch the All-Star game at all. But if you did watch Sunday night, out of the 3 games you've seen, which game do you think was the best? Which game do you think, if we would have played a traditional game, which game do you think would have been the most entertaining? Keep it a C note, let me know. I'm all the way keep it a C note. I think the best game was the first game that they played of the Sunday night most entertaining game. You had Team Chuck versus Team Kenny. I believe Team Chuck was the foreign players, very efficient. They played defense. They hustled. They made exciting plays. You had Wembanyama with the block on Cade Cunningham. They didn't shoot a lot of threes, 8 3-pointers attempted. All of their shots was efficient. They moved off of the basketball, played very well. And even though Team Kenny lost, the team was exciting. Evan Mobley had dunks, bunch of alley-oops. Jalen Williams had maybe the highlight of the game with the alley-oop, besides for the Victor block. And Cade got his back because he did come back and punch one. So I believe that game was the most exciting game. I think if that game with those two teams and you add a couple more players, if that was a traditional game to 40, to playing 4 quarters, people would not have complained about that game. I don't know. Again, if you didn't watch, go look at the highlights. You can see the highlights of every game. Come back, keep it a C-note with me, and let me know which game do you think was the best game. The elephant in the room, the biggest question is, what's the solution now? Do you try another gimmick next year? Do you listen to Kevin Durant and just let the players take a week off? Do you try to run this gimmick back again, but you exclude the first and second year players? What is the solution to fix the All-Star game? Keep it a C-note, let me know. I believe I've seen the perfect solution. It all makes sense with everything that has transpired over the weekend. When you look at it, let's just say music, especially hip hop. With music, they always say this is a young person's game. With football, you see it in football all the time. It's a young person's game. You see wide receivers who go from, like Cooper Kupp, go from being a man 3 years ago. Now he's 31. He's considered old. They're pushing him out, trying to find the next young talent. I believe, and I know a lot of people are going to critique me, especially since the OGs won that little All-Star game fiasco that they had going on. I believe that it's time that the NBA puts an age limit on the All-Star game. You've seen it with LeBron plus 40 at the last minute. He has to sit out of the All-Star game. And I know we shouldn't be stereotyping these guys. I do still think they should get the credit if they're selected to be an All-Star. But I think after you're like 35 years old, you should only be allowed to play in the NBA All-Star game if you're in the league in scoring, assists, or rebounding. Other than that, everybody that's 35 and older should not be playing in the NBA All-Star game. It's time we got to let these young pups shine. We're not letting these young pups shine. You kind of seen it with the younger talent. I would have liked to get Darius Garland play another 23 minutes in a game. I would have liked to see with Evan Mobley in them, because remember, they were playing good to 40, but what if they had the traditional thing where that was just a warm-up? What if in the second half of the game we would have really got to see them get busy? I have no problem with the older guys, but even when you look at the games, these guys, you play to the level of your competition. First of all, the first and second year players, they were just out there trying to be like the OGs, launching threes. And that's one of the reasons why the game is messed up. Even when you look at Team Chuck, from that first game where they would shoot, everything is off, ball moving without the ball, making nice passes. That second game when they went against the OGs, everything went to 3-pointers. And the only thing that I can think of is the older guys. The older guys, they're playing a certain way when they get on the court, which makes the opponent automatically dumb down to their level. And the older guys are still the better shooters, so of course they're going to outshoot them, but the older guys are killing the All-Star game. You didn't see no highlights from them. Everything was 3-pointers. In 40-minute games, they shot about 35, 36 threes, 35 threes, 18 one game, 17 another, I believe. Right? There's nothing wrong with saying LeBron was an all-star this year, getting that on his resume, but Trae Young getting a spot. Kevin Durant, dumb guy. I'm not saying that they can't hoop no more, but they're not able to do what you want to see as a fan at the All-Star game. You look at the Supermax contract, says you got to be with an organization 10 years unless you meet certain criteria. Most kids coming in the league 18 to 20 years old. So in that 10-year span, you get a Supermax, you can be anywhere from 25 to 30. That contract is over by 30 to 35. That's all still in that wavelength. So again, I don't know if y'all want to call me a Uber, but I definitely believe that it is time to put an age limit on the All-Star game. Plus, when the NBA, by continuing to push these older guys, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, because they say they're the bag, what are you doing for the new guys? How long has Jason Tatum been in the league? Who's Jason Tatum's rival? Are we going to say LeBron James? He has nobody in his age bracket from the new era that he's a rival to. Who's Anthony Edwards' new rival? His rival, period. Ja Morant, who has a rival? We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that because we are pushing these same old guys, regular season, All-Star weekend, and all of that. The NBA needs to change, and they need to change fast. And lastly, I will say this. A lot of people say that it's the older people that are complaining. Here's the thing. NBA is all about analytics now. So if the analytics tell you that these younger kids don't watch basketball games, they don't watch full games, they only watch highlights, then that means the only crowd that you really have that's actually watching games live on TV or however they're streaming the games are the older people. The people that don't want to see this game played like that. So why not listen to the older fans and change the game up? It's like it's blasphemy. That's like the NFL continuing to say, okay, we're going to push Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and you're going to see these guys every week on a nationally televised game because these guys are the old legends of the game or the OGs of the game. No, the game evolves. It's time the NBA evolves. I'm just keeping it a C note. This weekend we got Beterbiev and Bivol Part 2. Keep it a C note. Who you got winning that fight? I know it was a lot of controversy the first time, but the first time I had Beterbiev won. I'm going Beterbiev again the second time. I think this time he will be extra aggressive. He was more aggressive than Bivol in the first fight. I think in this fight he'll be extra aggressive. But again, Beterbiev, Bivol, Part 2. Keep it a C, know who you got. I'm about to wrap this episode up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if this your first time tuning in, salute to you. Do me a favor. Hit the sub button, like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment if you agree, disagree, want to correct me, or if you want to call me a Uber. Let me know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C note. And please share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you so that we can all talk that talk together. As always, I am your boy Brown. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell everybody. Keep it a C note. I holla at y'all.
This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da.